Welcome to Lighthouse KinShip's 200th devotional video, Tempo of the Heart, Logical Thinking. Romans 12 verses 1 and 2 NLT. And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all He has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind He will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship Him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Titus 2 verses 7 and 8, New King James. In all things showing yourself to be a pattern of good works, in doctrine showing integrity, reverence, incorruptibility, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that one who is an opponent may be ashamed, having nothing evil to say of you.
For the previous devotional video of Lighthouse Kinship, we've shown a deeper and brighter light into the innermost being of our lives, our hearts. Not only is our hearts the vital organ that keeps the flow of life-giving blood flowing through our bodies, but our emotions also cascade from our hearts. Besides our emotions cascading from our hearts, logical thinking is transmitting from our hearts. Chapter 24 in the book of Luke in the New Testament opens the airways for us to listen to a logical conversation between two individuals discussing the resurrection of Jesus.
Luke 24 verses 13 to 16 NLT. That same day, two of Jesus' followers were walking to the village of Emmaus, 7 miles from Jerusalem. As they walked along, they were talking about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things, Jesus himself suddenly came and began walking with them, but God kept them from recognizing him.
When a puzzling situation presents itself in your life, how does your heart transmit the information? Are you just the facts believer only? There is no questioning the facts? Verse 16 tells us that God kept the two individuals from recognizing that they were having this conversation now with Jesus. This conversation is more than logical thinking, just the facts.
Luke 24 verses 17 to 24 NLT. He asked them, "What are you discussing so intently as you walk along?" Then one of them, Cleopas, replied, "You must be the only person in Jerusalem who hasn't heard about all the things that have happened there the last few days." "What things?" Jesus asked. "The things that happened to Jesus, the man from Nazareth," they said. "He was a prophet who did powerful miracles, and he was a mighty teacher in the eyes of God and all the people. But our leading priests and other religious leaders handed him over to be condemned to death, and they crucified him. We had hoped he was the Messiah who had come to rescue Israel. This all happened 3 days ago. Then some women from our group of his followers were at his tomb early this morning, and they came back with an amazing report. They said his body was missing, and they had seen angels who told them Jesus is alive. Some of our men ran out to see, and sure enough, his body was gone, just as the women had said."
Now your puzzling situation has facts that have no logical explanation to these facts. The tempo of your heart no longer has a rhythmic flow of transmitting clarity to the facts of your reality. The facts of reality speak one way, and the tempo of your heart is carrying, transmitting a completely different narrative.
Luke 24 verses 25 to 32 NLT. Then Jesus said to them, "You foolish people, you find it so hard to believe all that the prophets wrote in the scriptures. Wasn't it clearly predicted that the Messiah would have to suffer all these things before entering his glory?" Then Jesus took them through the writings of Moses and all the prophets, explaining from all the scriptures the things concerning himself. By this time they were nearing Emmaus and the end of their journey. Jesus acted as if he were going on, but they begged him, "Stay the night with us, since it is getting late." So he went home with them. As they sat down to eat, he took the bread and blessed it. Then he broke it and gave it to them. Suddenly their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and at that moment he disappeared. They said to each other, "Didn't our hearts burn within us as he talked with us on the road and explained the scriptures to us?"
When has a puzzling situation that had the tempo of your heart transmitting static and murky information suddenly changed into a steady, illuminating, glowing message being transmitted through the temple of your heart? What brought the temple of your heart into the flow of the reality of God's thinking into your puzzling situation that gave clarity to the facts?
Romans 10 verses 9 to 11 NLT. If you openly declare that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is by believing in your heart that you are made right with God, and it is by openly declaring your faith that you are saved. As the scriptures tell us, anyone who trusts in him will never be disgraced.
Includes our devotional video of Lighthouse Kinship, Tempo of the Heart, Logical Thinking, Matthew chapter 6, verse 21, Amplified. For where your treasure is, there your heart, your wishes, your desires, that on which your life centers will be also. Psalms 51, verse 10 NLT. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Renew a loyal spirit within me. Psalms chapter 19, verse 14 NLT. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing to you, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer.
Lighthouses. Jesus Christ is the light of the world. KinShip. Comfort. Enlightening the eyes of your heart. Photography. Traveling. Camping. What do all these things have in common? Monica and I excitedly invite all to journey with us, not only through YouTube, but by personal appearance. Church, Sunday school class, small group, church socials, other activities where the Word of God is shared, as we share the challenges, blessings, and adversities through the lens of the camera and God's divine Word. Please contact us by email for Monica and me to share our experiences in person. Our email address is lighthousekinshipllc@gmail.com. Our email is also listed in the description below. And please like and subscribe to our videos and help us to spread the gospel by sharing these videos on your social media platforms.